Hi, thanks for tuning in to High on Horror. I'm Drew.
And I'm John. This episode and every future episode is dedicated to the horror hounds and smokers out there who want to expand their knowledge of the genre and have a good time.
Today we're talking about extreme horror films, and to top it all off, we're joined by Stephen Biro.
Or Biro, or both apparently. You'll learn that later.
Yeah, the founder of Unearthed Films. They're the distributor of all the messed up movies that other distributors won't touch. You know, the genre films that make people give you dirty looks if you watch them, like a Serbian film. And we are talking about a Serbian film today.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Steven's going to spill his guts to us in an exclusive interview. We're talking about Category 3 films, the American Guinea Pig films, and more. It's getting bloody and nasty today, so hold on to your ass with both hands.
Oh my God.
All that and more. All that and more today on High on Horror. Interviews, reviews, and the latest news all rolled into one. Again, give it up to our producer Josh Hensley for that amazing theme song you just heard.
Give him a golf clap. Anyway, we have talked about some heavy films the last couple of weeks, but this week, I guess, as Paul Heyman says, we'll take it to the extreme. That was probably the worst Paul Heyman impersonation ever.
I don't know. You kind of got the look going. You know?
That's fucked up. I mean, at least I got hair.
Well, look, last week was a kick in the taint. This week is a kick in the balls.
I mean, I gotta imagine the pain level's got to be kind of close.
Well, you know, we need to get high before we do all that. So that only means one thing. It's time for Strain Wreck, the segment of our show where we discuss which strain we're getting wrecked on in each episode. All right, John, you brought the goods again this week. What are we smoking?
Yeah, I still got that black cherry punch, but next week I'll have some new shit. I'll save the names until next week.
What happened to that Snickle Fritz, John?
Well, we smoked that earlier.
Okay.
I still got the street weeds.
The street weeds, sweet. All right, let's get that shit sparked up soon. Yeah. So I wanted to bring something up to you, man. So apparently Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
Reborn?
The fourth film in the franchise, which is essentially a sort of reboot type of thingy. Requel.
Reboot type of thingy. Is that the technical term?
Well, it's you know, kind of starting. I don't know exactly what the full story is. They've been kind of secretive about it. The teaser trailer is only like 20 seconds long or some shit like that, but it was set to come out this year, and I've been waiting for a trailer because I'm like, the trailer that I saw and the photos that we put on Instagram of the creeper, I'm not impressed with. So I'm kind of like, because people were saying the screenings that it got, people said it was good. They were saying it was really scary, it was better than the first one, and I'm like, I don't believe that based on what I saw. That might be people like trying to fluff up the movie, you know what I mean, like for the sake of like getting hype behind it. But anyway, I've been impatiently waiting for a trailer because I'm always going to be eager to watch a new Jeepers Creepers film if it's good. Well, anyway, turns out that basically the film is being held up in court, and that the jury trial isn't scheduled to begin until January of 2024.
What? How is it taking so long?
Well, that's if there isn't a settlement before then. If there's not a settlement in the lawsuit, then it's going to play out to completion, and they wouldn't begin until January of 2024. So, and it was supposed to come out this year, but here's a quote from JoBlo.com. Quote, the alleged breach of a right of first negotiation and last refusal for worldwide distribution rights to subsequent productions of the horror movie franchise Jeepers Creepers. Cross-defendant Myriad Pictures alleges in the complaint having a contractual right of first negotiation and last refusal for worldwide distribution rights to subsequent productions. Cross-defendant further alleges that defendant produced and filmed Jeepers Creepers 4 without cross-defendant's knowledge or involvement, or even cross-defendant had been working with defendants to develop the sequel throughout 2018 and 2019. Once the film was shot, defendants purported to extend to to cross-defendant a right of, quote, last negotiation, which was illusory because defendants had already granted distribution rights to cross-defendants' competitor, Screen Media. That was fucking crazy to read. I kind of got confused reading that. Lawyer jargon. Fuck it.
Lawyer jargon. That was ridiculous, but lawsuits. This Friday the 13th.
Yeah, people were looking forward to this, man.
People want their monies.
If you listeners are out there are looking forward to this movie, let us know what you think about the lawsuit. All right, let's start a post on Instagram. Let's start a poll. Like whoever wins gets some High on Horror t-shirts. What lawsuit gets settled first? Friday the 13th or Jeepers Creepers? Jeepers Creepers, I feel like people just aren't going to give a fuck about. Victor Salva being a
honest,
kitty
I'm not
diddler
as big
and
of a
all.
Jeepers Creepers fan as other people, so like it doesn't really bother me.
Oh man, the first one was brilliant. The second one was cheesy, and the third one
Well,
was,
I really enjoyed the first one. The other ones,
the third one was used toilet paper.
That's not a good
It was
review.
used, man. Used.
Anyway, now we did have a death. He doesn't have many horror roles, but on May 26th, Ray Liotta passed. But,
Yeah, man. Oh man, it sucks. I liked him. Good
he
actor.
did a lot of good movies. You know, like Hog Wild. No, not Hog Wild. That was a WCW pay-per-view. What the fuck? Wild Hogs.
Oh, wild.
Hog Wild. You remember that WCW
Yes,
pay-per-view?
I do. I laughed immediately when you said that. But yeah, Ray Liotta, man, he, I guess horror-wise, he's kind of known for getting his brains eaten by Hannibal, right?
Yeah.
That's probably what he'd be known for.
Take a hit for him.
But yeah, Goodfellas and all that. I have to say, non-horror related. It's not horror, but my favorite movie by Ray Liotta, I know everybody's is Goodfellas, but mine is Narc with Jason Patric. Dude, there's a scene in that movie towards the end of that movie that it was one of those profound moments of my movie watching life, like growing up when I watched the movie and something about the movie actually stood out to me. It's kind of like listening to a song for the first time when you're able to like kind of like distinguish all the instruments separately when you're listening to it. I remember watching Narc, and towards the end of that movie when Ray Liotta and Jason Patric get into this like fight, like it was like the most genuine, real acting I'd ever seen. I remember thinking like that's the first time I ever watched a movie and thought, God damn, like that was so convincing. So I'd have to give it to Narc. That movie's fucking brilliant, and nobody knows about it. It's like such an underground little gritty drug movie.
I hit my favorite. Yeah, it's probably Goodfellas, but like right below it is Field of Dreams.
I still have never seen that. I
It's
know
my
everybody's
favorite
like,
baseball movie.
Yeah, I mean it's on like I think it's on like a lot of greatest films lists of all time. It's a Kevin Costner film, right? Kevin Costner
Yeah.
film.
That's a series. I also a movie of his that I like. I mean, he's not the main actor in it, but he's the main antagonist, I guess. Is Observe and Report. People fucking hate that movie.
I like that movie,
Like even
dude.
Seth Rogen fans I know were like, I don't like that. But like, I don't know. Like, I prefer that to Paul Blart.
Yeah, I mean,
Paul Fort.
yeah, I would agree. I 100% would agree. I wasn't a fan of Paul Blart. Kevin
I
James.
liked Paul Blart, but Observe and Report, I felt like the adult version of that.
I feel like Kevin James's movies have been completely a miss for me. He was funny in in King of Queens, and some of his stand-ups were funny, but kind of like Kevin Hart, I just feel like his movies don't capture who he is. I don't know. They don't get me.
And of course, video game fans. He did Black Ops. He did.
Yeah.
But Tommy Vercetti in Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah.
Although apparently, like Rockstar, anytime they got any big names like him, I think Sam Jackson and other ones, they always ended up in a fight. Like,
No shit.
yeah, like so that's why they stopped getting big name actors, because it would always end up in a fight over money.
Damn, that's oh wow. Well, here's something else I wanted to bring up to you real quick. I was actually gonna ask you, have you heard about this show called From on Epix?
No.
FROM. So it's called From, and I kept seeing posts about it on Facebook, and I've been bullshitting at work a lot, so I checked it out. It's on that channel Epix, and it stars the dude that played Damon Pope, the asshole in Sons of Anarchy, the guy that you kind of love to hate, Harold Perrineau, I think his name is. But it's just like basically, I'm only 4 episodes in, but the vibe, it's a very Stephen King esque show, and it's like people are basically stuck in this town, and it's like overruled by vampires, and like every night they have to like lock their doors and bolt their windows, or the vampires will like get in. And when the vampires do get in, they like rip these bodies apart. It's not just like blood drinking. So I was like gonna bring that up to you earlier before this was recorded. I was gonna say, dude, you need to check this show out. Like it's good.
But apparently, I just looked it up just now. It's already been renewed for a second season.
Did you see? I didn't check any reviews to see if it got any good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes or anything, but
I didn't. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page right now.
Yeah, the fan it's getting good reviews, and I kept seeing Stephen King, and then the first episode is very reminiscent of Salem's Lot. There's a vampire floating outside the window. Very kind of creepy though. It's this little girl, and she's like, it's her grandmother outside the window, and the little girl kind of gets talked into like opening the window, and she opens the window and is like, "You're not my grandmom." And I was like, "Ooh!" So like the vampires, like they're not even like really the relatives or who they say they are. They're just like lying to trick kids and stuff. Very nasty, gnarly, like old school scary vampires. Not. I'm not gonna say Twilight is old as shit on Twilight, but Twilight.
I'll have to check it out. I either really like vampire movies it's a show, but I either really like how it's done or I hate it. I feel like.
Yeah, but you're a big fan of Stakeland. I remember
I love Stakeland.
You brought that to me. You were like, "Dude, have you ever seen Stakeland?" And I was like, "I love Stakeland." And you were like, "Dude, I just bought that shit." Like, and you're not a vampire person. Like, you don't like Lost Boys.
I like Lost Boys.
Oh, you do like Lost Boys?
Everybody seems to think I don't. It's funny.
I guess because you don't show so much love for it as everybody else.
It's not. I don't. It isn't even my 80s vampire movie.
It's Fright Night.
Well, it's Fright Night, and the other like more serious vampire movie. I like Near Dark better.
Near Dark's really good. Yeah, I like.
But I'm a Bill Paxman fan. Paxman. R.I.P. Dog.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's some definitely good vampire movies out there. But anyway, we're getting to that point of rambling.
Yeah, it's about time to get into horror history.
Horror history? Or no, I'm sorry, horror hiss?
Horror hiss.
This week in horror history.
All right. Well, I think this week it's a decent mix.
Yeah.
We'll start with Harry and the Hendersons from 1987. That was a movie, one of the first movies I ever remember seeing as a kid.
And you watched that shit a lot, didn't you? I fucking love that movie, dude. Like, legit, like, that's one of those movies, whenever somebody brings up Harry and the Hendersons, unless it's our parents, people our age are always like, "Yo, that movie," you know what I mean?
That was a movie my mom liked a lot, too.
It was a wholesome movie. It was like Encino Man, but with a real caveman, or like a Bigfoot, I mean, not a real caveman, but Rick Baker said that this was his favorite character that he ever created. So that says something.
It has a really good design to it.
It flows. It's family friendly. It looks good. Knowledge nug. Harry was played by Kevin Peter Hall, who played both Predators in Predator 1 and 2. I did
actually know that.
That's pretty fucking sick, right? Which explains the height. Motherfuckers be tall.
Motherfuckers be tall. Celebrating its 16th anniversary this year, the Save the Last Dance version of The Omen.
Well, listen, here's the thing. I remember I remember that televangelists were going fucking crazy when this movie came out, dude, because I remember
Did they not know there was one prior to it?
No, the thing was they were raising hell talking about pray and you need to pray and you need to do this and don't do that, because this movie was released on June 6th of 2006. So if you see a movie that's brilliantly marketed and supports the devil, you're going to hell and you're evil.
Basically. I didn't really care for this version.
I liked the effects were good, but it just felt like an unnecessary remake. I don't hate it, but it's kind of like the Scream 5, you know.
And 20th anniversary for a movie we covered May.
Yep, and I think you'll agree with me when I say if you want to know anything about that movie, you're gonna have to listen to the episode. It's pretty full of information.
Yeah, so go listen to another episode. Then up next we have one you referenced. Was it last week?
Yeah, I think so.
Hellraiser Deader from 2005.
I just had to make sure that we brought that up. I have nothing to contribute about that movie. I just
wanted it mentioned.
Just want you to know Hellraiser Deader is out there. And the thing is, I'm Googling, is Deader a word? And it's legit, I'm not really getting any definitive answer. I look up is dead or a word and it says dead, no longer alive. It doesn't say anything about deader, so I don't know. I don't even know if it's really a word. So yeah, so Hellraiser Deader. Don't recommend watching it if you. Oh God, man. Yeah, I don't think we could. Let's get to the point where we're shitting on the Hellraiser movies as much as you do Rob Zombie's Halloween,
and let's not bring that up.
Let's not stray from the fact that we love Hellraiser 1 and 2, but. Yes. But, yeah, the rest of those sequels, man. Doug Bradley's awesome and all, but whew, you can't pay me to watch them. Anyway,
up next, the movie responsible for the PG-13 rating from 1984, Gremlins.
Man, I don't even know what we could say about this movie.
It's funny because it's another one like Harry and the Hendersons that I watched with my family a lot growing up.
Yep, and it was still like...
And it is really violent when you think about it.
It is violent. It's
the
really
microwave,
funny.
the blender...
The whole kitchen scene, dude. The whole like you said, the microwave.
His mom was a badass.
The fight at the end where fucking Stripe is using buzz saws and shit, and like it's wild. No, I mean, there's nothing that I don't really have a bad word to say about Gremlins. I will say that I just watched the History of Horror season 3 episode about like sequels that don't suck. And everybody was really praising Gremlins 2. And
I love Gremlins 2.
Really, I was going to say, I got to disagree. Like, I don't dislike it, but they were talking it up as if it was better than the first one. And I was like, I know, definitely not for me.
Also, I saw part 2 probably just as much as part 1 when I was a kid. So, like...
There's some classic moments in it. There is, but it's like somebody...
Everybody's favorite moment in the original, I feel like, has to be the hi-ho.
Yeah, and I feel like Gremlins 2 is like somebody took like Bane's venom and just infused it into Gremlins 2, and that's what you get. Like every gremlin in that movie is like mutated. It's crazy looking. The spider gremlin, like it's
and the
good.
Gremlins, if you think about it, in '84, they were the first ones to stop Hulkamania.
Let me ask you this: what do you think had the better spider seed, Gremlins 2 or Spookies?
I mean, I don't know. I really like the design of both. Probably Spookies though.
Spookies is funner, but yeah, I mean, Gremlins are fucking awesome. But yeah, I don't even know the answer to my own question. You said Spookies. I guess I would say Spookies too. I don't know. The spiders. I just think of fucking the dude getting like deflated, like somebody just like I don't even Anyway, I'm rambling.
Yeah, right. And the last one we got here from 2013, the original, The Purge.
Knowledge Nug. This movie takes place in 2022. So here we go, peeps. We're here.
We're here. I really like the original Purge.
I don't know if we're not there yet in regards to the Purge actually being real, but I mean we're getting there. We definitely got some Weekend at Bernie's shit going on in the White House. So there's definitely some shit going down. I'm not trying to get political. We don't get political here, but just saying the Purge is probably something that's probably good. Do you think the Purge would happen?
Maybe it's naive thinking, but not here first. I feel like some other like country would institute it.
I could see that. Probably like Germany or Russia. Somebody
hardcore. Coming at the Germans.
Nah, they're just hardcore, man. Motherfuckers don't play.
Don't play. Them or the Scandinavians.
The Scandinavians? Yeah, I don't know why I did that either.
Did you like the original Purge?
That's the only... Well, no, you know what? I'm not going to say the only one. I liked the first one and I liked the second one. And after the third one,
it became like Saw to me, where I'd seen the previous one, so why not? I'll watch the next one.
They're just cranking them out like so quickly, and it's like
Hog.
It's like it was just like with Saw, the main thing was like in 1 year, let's hurry up and try to devise like the biggest plot twist that we can with as many twisted traps as we can in under a year. Film it, write it, produce it, direct it, everything, and release it. And that's kind of like what happened, just what happened here, just completely, just a rush job, and it shows.
Nicole and I went to see like the fourth one because we've seen all the other ones in theaters. We actually didn't see Forever Purge in theaters, but we went to that one. We both went. It's probably not going to be good, but we've seen all the other ones in theaters, so it's kind of a tradition at this point. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's just I mean, yeah, it's just it was just more. Every movie's just more masks. Like let's just give people creative costumes and masks and do riots in the street. It's like I'd rather watch Jason Voorhees just kill people in the woods.
That was back when Lena Headey was really hot. I don't mean
back when.
No, I don't mean physically hot. I mean it's like her star power.
Would you have pile drived her in Dread?
Oh my god!
In Dread, when she has like when she has like the scarred up face.
No.
You said yeah.
I said no. But there's totally no reason to bring this up. But funny you mentioned Dread because I was reading an article about they were saying about Carl Urban taking over the mantle of Wolverine.
Oh shit!
And apparently they're working on trying to make a Dread sequel now. They're trying to get him back on board.
It's funny because everybody loves that movie, but
it's so good. And it's funny, even in that article, they're like they talked about how much it's loved, and like they're trying to get a sequel made.
It's a fucking amazing movie.
No, it doesn't get talked about, but everybody I know that's seen it was like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It kind of went under the radar, but it's like everybody's because when people say Judge Dredd, they think of the Stallone movie, and it's like no, definitely not that Demolition Man, old school fucking Judge Dredd shit, But anyway,
it's trippy as fuck.
All right. Let's get into Puff Puff Ask, the segment of our show where you, the listeners, write in your questions to John and I in each episode, and we answer them. You write them in via social media at High on Horror 420 or at highonhorror420@gmail.com or on our website.
Yo, man. Puff, puff, pass.
All right, I'll go first here. From Sarah J. That's not the porn star. It's just Sarah J. from Vermont.
I think that's a fake name. I don't believe you, Sarah J.
No, Sarah J. initial, not J-A-Y, not the last name.
I still don't trust it.
From Vermont, Illinois, asks, last week you guys talked about children's movies. So I wanted to write in and ask you guys, is there any horror shows that you would recommend that aren't movies, that are TV shows? Thanks. Much love, Sarah. Okay. So I guess the question is TV shows based on horror, but like horror movies for shows. Okay, makes sense. I would say Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
That's a good one. I had that on my list.
Monsters. There's an old show called Monsters that you can watch on Amazon Prime. I don't know why I'm name dropping. They ain't paying us.
You mean, are you talking about Real Monsters or just Monsters?
No, it's just called Monsters.
I had Real Monsters on mine.
That's a good one. I think Stranger Things is decent. I think that's an okay show.
Depending on how young.
Yeah, I mean, again, I grew up watching Tales from the Crypt, so if you ask me, I think as long as you shield their eyes and watch it with them, Tales from the Crypt would be good, but if you're trying to leave them alone in the room to watch something, I wouldn't recommend that. I probably shouldn't recommend Tales from the Crypt at all. Scratch that.
Well, Tales from the Crypt Keeper was the animated one they had for kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I was the actual show. Tales from the Crypt.
I don't know. I watched it as a kid, and it was okay. It was still creepy. The Crypt Keeper was creepy as shit.
He was. That's what I think. It could be tolerable. I think certain episodes maybe might be too much. But Courage the Cowardly Dog. I think that's probably my favorite one. Yeah, that's probably my favorite one. Scooby Doo, of course. I'm trying to think of like live action ones.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh yeah. Man, that's brilliant. Yeah, I love that show.
I didn't watch this show, but one that I know Nicole watched was so weird. It was like X-Files for kids.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I remember watching that show, a couple episodes of that show. Yeah, I mean, do you have any more on your list?
Yeah. Where was it? I just had one. The Beetlejuice cartoon.
Oh shit, dude, good one. Yes.
And I guess it was more of a marketing tie-in because I also had that like Goop shit too, the Creepy Crawler show, which was also like that little like it was like an easy bake oven, but you put like goop in these metal things and you would make like insects.
Totally.
They actually had like a TV show on that.
I do not remember that. That's interesting. That's very
apparently
interesting.
around from 94 to 96.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Did you have one of those like little like creepy crawler oven things?
No, actually, I had a Terminator 2 one. I had one that was.
Shit! I would have preferred that.
Yeah, no, it sucked because I remember it was.
Oh damn! Just shit all over my dreams.
Well, it was like an endoskeleton that you made a mold of, and then you put it in this like thing, and it like actually put skin on the endoskeleton, so you could like chip the flesh away, and there'd be a skeleton underneath. In theory. That shit did not work. that shit was a hoax. It didn't work. The putty and shit didn't work, and so yeah, I never had the creepy crawly ones.
Yeah, I remember I had like that oven for like the like bugs and shit, but you could buy other molds that still like would work in there. Like I had like a Spider-Man and Venom one.
Oh, that's
but I could
cool.
never like get that like goop stuff to go. So it was just like it resembled Venom and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, next question.
All right, yeah. My question here comes from Cole from Georgia. Would you sleep inside a coffin for a night? I would, but I just feel like it might be uncomfortable.
We're big guys. Make it a little hot.
Yeah,
is AC running? Do we get some ventilation?
Can I keep the lid open or do I gotta like close it? I guess there's a lot of variables.
Let me crack the lid. Crack the lid with some air conditioning.
Am I gonna be like? Is it gonna be like post casket match where we're like you just stuck in there?
No, I would do it. I would love to just chill in there and hit my vape pen. In theory, again, I think it would probably get really hot in there
and uncomfortable. And
if you're having trouble sleeping due to the uncomfortableness, I feel like it'd be even more comfortable if you were trying to relieve yourself to get some sleep. I don't see you having the arm room to
the arm room.
To take care of yourself.
Christ.
So yeah, I don't know. It's like you said, there's a lot of variables, but in theory, yeah, I would sleep in a fucking
I just
coffin.
feel like it'd be so uncomfortable laying on your back that long.
I just love the fucking.
But like from the creepy standpoint, no, I'd be fine with laying in a coffin.
Yeah, I'm not scared to do it or nothing like that. I think it would be cool. I might make the shit too comfortable and not want to get out.
There are like some superstitions people have with like being in coffins.
Well, I don't care about superstitions. Yeah. Fuck all that.
But as Michael Scott said, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
A little stitious. All right, well, before we talk to Stephen Biro, dude, let's talk about some hardcore horror films for a second. I want to know what the 3 most hardcore films that you ever saw were, and I'm going to tell you mine. All right, man, so I'm going to go first. I'm going to start with the most hardcore one for me. The movie that fucked me up the most out of all the hardcore shit that I've watched is August Underground's Mortal. It's the second film in the trilogy. And it's, man, I mean, it fucked me up. I'll never watch that one again. I guess it's kind of a compliment, but I don't know how people can just watch it.
Who was it that said that horror is the only genre that when somebody goes, oh, I couldn't finish watching your film, you're like, nice.
Yeah, maybe that was Joe Bob. I don't know, but I don't know how people could watch this shit like it's Saturday morning cartoons. It's fucking puke, rape, pedophilia, necrophilia, gut fucking, etc. Just depravity. Like legit, like there is like a woman tied up. This dude cuts her belly open with what I remember to be like a kind of like a box cutter, and then just like pulls his dick out and starts having sex with her guts. Like while it's brutal. I
don't need to see that.
And it's filmed in like the VHS style, like found footage. So it's super disgusting. And like you can't fake the puke that they're doing in the movie. Like it's real puke. It's absolutely extreme. Like it's just one of those ones where it just went too. When we talk about how a Serbian film is still entertaining because it's a movie, this is one of those ones where it's so extreme it doesn't really have any entertainment value. You're kind of just like you kind of wish you didn't watch it.
Yeah, it's I was gonna say the one for me would be Serbian Film, and you could just read off facts to tell you how disturbing the movie is. It's been banned in at least 46 countries. In the U.S., a minute had to be cut to give it an NC-17 rating. And it's the first and only title in the history of Japan to get an R20+ rating.
Yeah. Yep.
But
it's crazy.
Yeah. We'll get a little more into a Serbian film in the interview, but I just wanted to say the director, he said it was his film is a struggle against corrupt authorities that govern over the lives for their purposes, the power of leaders who hypnotize you to do things you don't want to do. And that was in a magazine interview. And I wanted to say I feel like the best review I've seen of it came from the critic Scott Weinberg. And he said, quote, "I think the film is tragic, sickening, disturbing, twisted, absurd, infuriated, and actually quite intelligent. There are those who will be unable or unwilling to decipher even the most basic of messages buried within a Serbian film. But I believe it's one of the most legitimately fascinating films I've ever seen. I admire and detest it at the same time. I will never watch it again, ever." I feel like that's how you feel. Granted, we've watched it more than once, but that is how I felt after watching that the first time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, especially the end. I'm like, I don't ever want to watch this again.
Well, even still though, like that's like, you know, you just described the plot, and it's like I didn't describe the plot of Mortal because there's not really a plot. Like a Serbian film, as I just mentioned, has entertainment value. Well, it's like there's a plot to that. August Underground, like their movies are literally just two dudes and a chick just go around finding random people to fucking do disgusting things to. Like, and but yeah. And also, by the way, about Mortal, I don't know how true this is, but on IMDb, it says that it's one of Snoop Dogg's least favorite films.
I don't know why he lists his least favorite films.
Why is Snoop Dogg watching Mortal? I don't know if that shit's true. Anyway, my second movie that I want to pick is Jorg Butgereit's Necromantic. Basically it's about, if you don't know this movie, it hits you in the face like a sledgehammer. I remember it just absolutely took me aback by how far the movie went. It's about a couple who find a corpse while they're out and about, and they decide to bring the corpse home and start fucking it. And yeah, and the boy
Normal stuff, I guess.
you know, just normal Saturday afternoon activities. Well, the boyfriend starts getting jealous, basically, that the girlfriend is spending too much time with the corpse and wanting to have too much sex with it, and it's absolutely just. I mean, I
classic love triangle.
I had never seen a movie really about like necrophilia before, so for that one to be the one that I saw,
probably imagine there's probably too many movies about it in general.
Well, that's my point. But for this to be the one that you see as the first one, I mean, it kind of crosses all the lines. You're kind of like, oh well, I mean, any necrophilia movie after this has got to be like fucking PG, because this movie just goes the mile, and it ends with the lead character like masturbating, and as he's jizzing, he fucking guts himself with a knife. So it's one of those. Yeah. Of course, director Jorg also did the sequel, which was kind of cheesy, and he also did Der Todsking, which is just a very disturbing film. And Knowledge Nug, the main corpse's eyes in Necromantic were actually pig eyes that the director he had gotten them by claiming he was a medical student. He got them at a slaughterhouse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Going into my second one, it's another one you've made me watch, Martyrs.
You're welcome.
It's it's a young woman's quest for revenge, basically. And it's the people that kidnapped her, but it definitely fits into body horror. There's just so many.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
So many scenes, you just see stuff, it just like makes me wince. And it's funny because it was this. It took inspiration from Hostel, which the first time I saw Hostel, there was a lot of scenes that just made me wince.
Yeah.
But I would definitely put this way ahead of Hostel.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It's funny because I realized you've seen some fucked up stuff when Cannibal Holocaust is nowhere near on your list.
Yeah, I guess. Well, it's funny because back to them it felt real, but I feel like watching it now, it feels like a movie.
Yeah. I will. I guess my next one, my third one, I'm going to go with. We've talked about it a bunch, but there's no way I can't not mention it. Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom from 1975.
That would be on my list too, but yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, if you don't know this movie, it's hard, man. This is a hard one to watch, and it's literally one of those ones that I'll pass in my collection from time to time and go, do I really need to own this movie? Really need to have it in my collection? But then I kind of feel like it's kind of important.
Well, you got use out of it because you made me watch it once.
Well, I feel that, and I noticed though, you're not eager to watch that a second time the way you did a Serbian. Not that you were eager to watch a
I
Serbian
was
film
not
again.
eager to watch it, but you were like, "Hey, I got this commentary with Joe Lynch and Adam Green." And
Would
I'm
you
like,
buy
"Oh yeah,
it?
I'll watch it."
Would you buy it like you did a Serbian film on your Vudu? Would you own Salo?
I actually looked it up, and it was not on there.
Well, I can't imagine. But
I
anyway,
would just have it just to have it.
that's what it's kind of like cinematically important. So I feel that it's kind of like even if you don't like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you should kind of still own a copy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like I own it on my Vudu, but it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same way Joe Bob does about it.
Well, no. Well, yeah. So Salo is about some fascists, four fascists, basically kidnap, acquire 9 young boys and girls, and put them through 120 days of torture. And we're talking just about every kind of torture you can think of. And it's brutal to watch because these kids are just, it's rough to watch. It's never good to watch kids being abused, especially sexually, physically, mentally, forced to eat shit. Just I don't even know what I could say about the movie. Like everything I can say is just vulgar because it's just so much vulgar shit happens. But this is directed by Pierre Pasolini, and he had this saying where he said, I said this in a prior episode, John, but he said that hope was something that was invented by politicians to get votes. So this is, someone with that negative attitude, you can only imagine.
There's parallels between this and a Serbian film. It's definitely a statement. This was a political statement on the Mussolini fascism.
Yeah, well, I think that this is I feel like this is a Serbian film without any punches pulled. It was like a Serbian film, but said like we're not just a movie. We're just gonna scar you.
And it came out before a Serbian film.
Yeah, way before. Well, actually, here's something that's interesting to know. Knowledge nug. So Pasolini actually shot 4 different endings to the film because he wasn't sure how he originally wanted to end it. Now that movie's so fucked up, I would like to see the other 3 endings. I can only imagine.
Oh, jeez.
If it already ends with like dick mutilation and everything, I can't imagine what 3 other endings were. I'll never forget your reaction to the tub of shit. And I don't remember. Did you actually gag?
No.
You did. You just kind of like.
But I will say my last one here. It's one I didn't see with you first, but I had to pick it because it was like one of the first movies that like really just fucked me up when I watched it. And actually, it's celebrating a 50th anniversary this year. Yeah. Last House on the Left from 1972.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't expect you to. Yeah, that's
that one. The first time I saw that was like one of the first movies that I saw that I'm like, I feel dirty after watching this. So I've had ones that I would say might be worse now, but it's just one I gotta give respect to being the first one. It really was just like, damn, that was a lot to take in.
Yeah, dude, we've said before that Last House on the Left is one of those movies that makes you want to take a fucking shower. And I mean, it's still completely true. I mean, I remember watching the commentary actually for the original film, and David Hess, who plays Krug,
Yeah,
and Fred J. Lincoln, who plays Weasel, they were actually talking about Lucy Grantham and Sandra Castle, and they were like about how basically like during the rape scenes, like the girls were uncomfortable and they were kind of being like bitchy and feisty and like not liking the way they were being treated, and like Fred and David Hess were legitimately talking about like like I just had to get rough with her, like show her what it's like, and like they were just like kind of like getting off on how they were bragging about how they got rough with the girls and like kind of like acted out the rape a little harder than they needed to because the girls were being bitches, and kind of made me lose a little respect for David Hess. He has this big like following, and I just don't think that that's fucking cool. I don't care what situation you're in, like somebody's being a bitch because you're making them uncomfortable. You don't fucking solve that by fucking trying to like rape them or act like you're raping them a little harder than you should. It's a little ridiculous.
Sandra Peabody was was bothered by it a lot. Apparently, she walked off set, and they had to convince her to come back and finish filming.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Wes Craven, when he took the film to the MPAA, they slapped it with an X rating, and obviously, all horror movies you want that R rating, R or PG-13. You don't want an X rating. Craven went back, removed several minutes of footage. It wasn't enough. They still gave it an X rating. He went back, removed the footage, still wasn't enough for him. Finally, Craven put all the original footage back in and got it rated R and approved from the film board. So, apparently, did they just like not pay attention?
Yeah, I guess.
And also, according to Wes Craven, they had to set up special editing offices to restore prints that came back from cinemas because, quote, everyone would come back chopped up by theater owners.
Jesus. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean...
But yeah, that was the first movie that really fucked me up.
So what do you say that like we do a marathon where we take these six movies and we just do them back to back to back to back to back, go through like an ounce of bud and some beer. I think when we got to Salo, we'd probably need a break. Probably go like put on Iron Man or something afterwards.
Put on Salo first and just get it out of the way.
It's only up. It's all up here. It's all uphill from there, right?
Pretty much.
All right. Well, I guess it's time to talk to Stephen Biro. Let's get into our interview.
Today's guest is the founder of Unearthed Films, which was founded in 2002 to distribute independent genre films from around the world in the United States and Canada. They release films in all media, including theatrical, home video, television, and video on demand. Unearthed has established a unique label brand for fans of cutting-edge independent cinema. Over the intervening years, their ever-growing catalog of films has attracted a dedicated customer base that has made Unearthed Films the go-to place for discerning fans of the weird and wonderful. This year they celebrate their 20th anniversary, and as I said, we have the founder, Stephen Biro, with us today. Thank you for being high on horror.
Well, I am proud to be here. Because I'm not high yet, but I will be by the end of the show.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you, man. I'm a huge fan of the hardcore underground shit, and over the years I've gotten John into it, so this was a big one for us. We're glad to have you on. We're thrilled. I wanted to start off by asking you, how often do you smoke, and is there currently a favorite strain that you're favoring?
Well, okay, I used to smoke like a fucking madman until I hit 30 years old, where I found God. And then after that, I couldn't touch anything because it'd make me go nuts. You know, paranoia, this and that, you know, and yeah, that was a long time ago because I figured out early on in my life because, you know, I wanted to find God and I didn't want to go wander through the desert and shit, so I decided to take massive amounts of LSD and nitrous oxide. And yeah, and I found him, dealt with the devil, and yeah, after that, I couldn't smoke dope for the life of me. It always just made me paranoid as fucking fuck. And then over the years, you know, I moved out here to LA and they have indica and sativa. And then I started, you know, trying a couple of gummies and it works. So yeah, so I do like a doobie a night and maybe 2 10-milligram gummies mixed with my Steel Reserve.
So do you like the edibles better than smoking? Do you have a preference of which one you like better?
Well, the sativa still like fucks with me, where it never did, because when I was growing up, pot was pot. There was no sativa indica. You got what you got. So, and indica is more of a body buzz, sativa is more a head buzz, but the sativa, yeah, it just makes me way too paranoid and it's uncool. So, so I just do the indica. And yeah, I've stopped drinking like vodka and, you know, hard liquor. So now I just do beer and gummies and occasional doobie here and there. Nothing like what I used to.
It's funny you mentioned sativas. I feel like everybody I knew when we were in our 20s, everybody likes sativas. Now everybody's hit 30, we're starting to get into our mid 30s, and we're like, no, I want the indica. I just want to relax.
I think it's also a change of brain chemistry too. I mean, finding God, yeah, that was a huge, changed my life. But yeah, I couldn't smoke any dope whatsoever. And back then, all the hybrids started like emerging in 2000, to where all my pot dealers were like, "Oh, well, it's an eighth and it's $45," and I'm like, "Fuck you." I'm allowed to curse, right? Yeah, that's what I figured, right? So
Yeah, there's no
yeah.
filter here.
So for the longest time, pot on the black market, you didn't know if it was sativa or indica. But now, since it's all like highfalutin and consumer consumer based, yeah, now you know it's a hybrid or a sativa or indica. So I stick to the indica, but once in a while I'll do a hybrid.
And clearly you're a horror guy from your resume. What was it that attracted you to the genre?
Just the intensity. I mean, I was always a horror fan since I was like 4 years old, but you could only watch so much horror on the three channels that we had back then. So you'd see the Godzilla and the Frankenstein and this and that. But as I got older, I got into the more extreme stuff. So I prefer the extreme stuff. Just, I mean, I like normal horror movies too, but extreme, that's the crazy stuff, because the effects is what makes a horror movie, because it's all fake. So the more effects, then hell yeah, So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Which makes me want to ask you, with you being like, the fucking founder of this company, Unearthed Films, that puts out all these hardcore films, is there a movie, like name the movie, if there is one, that has disturbed you the most? And is there a line you won't cross, like when watching something? Like, are you like, no, I can't watch a certain, like, is there anything that you don't, like, anything that gets under your skin that you won't watch?
Well, Melancholia de Angel from Marion Dora was one we were gonna put out, and the bastard was proud that he killed a cat for the movie, and that was one of his selling points.
Oh, shit.
And we were looking at it, and I have cats, and then I started getting people hearing that we were thinking about it, and they were threatening us with, oh, he killed a cat, because it's one thing if you kill a turtle in Cannibal Holocaust, or you kill a cow that's normally butchered and show it. It's another thing to kill a cat. So I ended up not putting it out, and I mean it's a pretty vile movie too.
Yeah, totally.
So that was like one. I mean, we won't do real death stuff, you know. But yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts? Because in answering in that question of myself, answering my own question, the one movie that I have to say, like, I can take anything. I love, necromantic. I that stuff doesn't bother me, all that stuff. But the one movie that really got me was August Underground's Mortal. That one, I'm like, I'll never watch that shit again. Did you ever watch the August Underground trilogy?
Yeah, I'm trying to put them out as we speak. I know all those guys: Fred Vogel, Michael Maggot, Jeremy Cruz. I mean, yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
no
Jeremy
shit.
Cruz, the FX guy on Mortem, he was my roommate for 2 years. So yes, I have definitely seen it. I mean, it's fake. I think they pretend to have sex with a dead 12-year-old in a bathtub, but it was just a mannequin. So
Yeah, it was that found footage. That's what made it so like just gross. You know what I mean? Like it just made it felt too real.
right, yeah. So it's not, so it's fake. So it's still workable in our genre. It's like when you start like mutilating uh, mutilating Down syndrome's kids. I was just gonna say retarded kids, but I know that's frowned upon these days.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And before we get into your films here, you're an author as well, and in fact, you've written several novels on hallucinogens. What was that experience like?
Oh well, I know you guys have probably taken LSD, right? Magic
Yes.
mushrooms,
I
yeah,
haven't
magic
yet.
mushrooms, right? Well, when you
I've done
take
mushrooms, yeah.
nitrous, all that fake shit they used to say in the '60s, like, oh, you'll see pink elephants and this and that. Yeah, you mix the nitrous oxide, yeah, you will have a pink elephant in your room. So, I mean, I've taken enough drugs to actually, how do you say, blow your mind, to where I was meeting with the devil, angels, the Lord, Yeah, so if that tells you anything, I was taking a very big, excessive amount. Because I figured it'd be safer sitting on my couch watching fucked up movies, trying to find God, than it is to, you know, hike to the top of the mountain and hope, you know. So yeah.
And now, do you think that made the writing process easier?
It took me a while to figure out how to write it without sounding insane. I mean, took me quite a bit to figure out how to not seem insane.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah. So it took me a while, but yeah, and then afterwards, after I met him, my mind actually split. Because before it just used to be me and myself in my head, but then after I found the Lord, my mind split, and you could say I could either hear the devil or God, or I'm hearing for the first time the superego and my id, which not a lot of people have. A lot of people have it, but a bunch don't. So it was like, so it made writing dialogue with the devil pretty easy, because here I was, I'm either talking to the devil, or I'm talking to my id, or I'm talking to the darkest sense of myself. So it made me interviewing the devil pretty easy. Uh, so yeah, and that book has scared the shit out of my friends who read it. I mean, all the books do, because they're based on reality, life, and what we want, what we are, who we're dealing with. It's just pretty intense.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. And then also some pretty intense stuff. You produced a documentary about Unit 731 from World War II. What made you decide to get involved with that?
Well, at the time I was dealing with the filmmaker Andrei Iskanov, and he's a Russian filmmaker. And I helped him out here and there on some of his earlier movies, and we produced Philosophy of Knife with him, which is, it's like part documentary but part recreation, you know. And that was awesome, because that's what he wanted to do, and he pulled it off. But the guy hates me because it's his masterpiece, and they thought I sold millions of copies when, I clearly didn't. But it's pretty intense. I mean, it's 4.5 hours long. What the hell?
Yeah, and it's some serious stuff. Where World War II is responsible for some real atrocities.
Oh yeah, chemical experiments, biological warfare. I mean, they were even dropping bombs that had fleas in it, loaded with different diseases, to see if that would, spread among the civilization or societies they wanted to destroy. Yeah, yeah, no, it's a crazy documentary. Very violent, very rapey,
Oh shit.
just outrageous. So it's good. That was the first movie I produced.
Well, you've done some directing. You know, you've done the infamous American Guinea Pig, Bouquet of Guts and Gore, and American Guinea Pig, The Song of Solomon, both of which are a real fucking kick in the gut, man. And how was it directing the films? And what did you take away from the experience of directing?
They were difficult to make. I mean, Bouquet was my first film, but I surrounded myself with indie genre people that knew what they were doing. So it helped me to make that atrocity. Solomon was more of my way to do something, in a crazy possession type of guinea pig, outrageous gore type of thing. And we shot that in Florida. And yeah. I mean, it went well. I mean, I had some hiccups because the film industry is filled with crazy motherfuckers, and I have found out that because I've had a couple of crazy ass actors on my set, and they make shit purposely go south on purpose
Oh, damn.
because of their own ego or their own narcissism, or they just want to be a problem. And you don't know that going in. So I learned that some actors are total cunts.
Well, can we expect to see you behind the camera again at any point in the future?
Yeah, I'm working on like a remake or two if we can get the rights to it, and they'd be big, So I'm trying to. And actually, we just shot a guinea pig called Slaughter of the Swine, and it's based off of one pure Illuminati satanic fucking torture porn. It's just vile. There's really no story to it. It's just the ritual itself. And I wasn't supposed to direct it because I like to have my effects people direct the movie, because they should be kicking some ass, and they want to like showcase their effects and stuff. And this one I showed up to Slaughter the Swine, and the effects weren't finished yet. And I was just supposed to be the money guy. I ended up producing it, or directing it. Yeah, I ended up directing it. Well, the Eric Fox, who was going to direct it, he was just way too busy catching up on doing all the effects work. So I ended up stepping into that. And the thing is, it's not my movie; it's Eric Fox's movie. So I'm waiting on something, a decent budget, and if I get some of these remake things going, then then hell yeah, I'm gonna step in the director's chair. I mean, I might end up doing something here real quick because one of my friends who has a studio is getting forced to sell it to Amazon. So they have 6 weeks, 6 months.
Oh, shit.
They might have a month and a year and a half if they can get an extension. But so we might throw out something rather quick that I'm going to direct. I don't know how it'll go. But I'm out here in LA, so there's a bunch of people I know who'd be willing to be in something that I make.
Definitely.
That's awesome, and we'll definitely, hopefully those remakes work out for you. And you're the first guest we've had on here that's a film distributor. What made you decide to get into that field?
Oh, well, I mean, I love gore. I love horror movies, and I had my business partner now of 20 years. He hit me up because I had a bootleg website where I was making VHS bootlegs of everything, right? And it was at the time DVDs started coming out, so all these movies started getting released, so I had to delete all these other movies from the VHS bootlegging site. I'd be like, oh, Necromantic's coming out, delete that, this and that. I mean, I always try to be, fair and honest and shit. And then I got a cease and desist about the Guinea Pig films. And it was my future business partner, and he's like, hey, what the fuck?
Really?
And then he offered to sell them to me, and then, after a couple of months, we ended up starting up Unearthed Films. So being a distributor and a filmmaker actually really helps. Because you can only make a movie so much or so fast. You know, so us putting out other titles is really awesome because that keeps the lights on, keeps this going. So
Yeah, absolutely.
so the distribution, and there's tons of
Absolutely.
movies at the time that still have never had been put out yet. So yeah, so distribution is like awesome.
Well, first off, let me say that I love the brand Unearthed Films. I own a lot of your titles. I've got John to watch. I still have to get John to watch What the Waters Left Behind and Untold Story. I just got Evil Dead Trap last year. I was home alone on my birthday, and I got super baked and watched it. And that was actually one of the films that you guys put out that I haven't seen before. So it was a first time watch for me, and it fucking blew me away. I loved it, and I watched it 3 times. It's just such a batshit crazy fucking movie, and I'm glad that there's a company out there like yours that's putting shit out like that.
Yeah. Thank you. Untold Story. That's a feather in my hat. I used to sell that on bootleg back in 1994, and people went nuts over it. And that's the thing. I mean, Untold Story back in the 90s, that was as big as Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, right.
But since it didn't have like a big release here, so it fell off the radar of a lot of people, but a lot of us old fucks like me know it and remember it. And yeah, the fans that knew of the movie, were excited as all hell for it. The thing is, so many of the new fans that are coming, they have no clue, what Dr. Lamb is, Untold Story, because those are the cream of the crop of the Category 3 films.
Right. Yep.
So I'm glad you watched it that many times and stoned as fuck, because it is amazing. It's fucked. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of Untold Story and Evil Dead Trap and Evil Dead Trap 2, are there any other Category 3 films that you're looking to acquire in the future? I know you're putting out Dr. Lamb, right?
Yeah. That's Dr. Lamb will be a big one for us, just because it's top 5 Category 3 films, and it's really demented. And I'm scaring our agents and reps with it, because I'm like, guys, you understand, Dr. Lamb, this is huge. And they're like, oh, well, we looked at the IMDb, and it's about a taxi driver and necrophilia and dismemberment. And I'm like, yeah, that's what all horror movies are based on, aren't they?
All
So
that good shit.
I scare, I mean, I scare my reps, all the time, because I'm like, oh yeah, no, dude, this is a normal horror movie. They're like, dude, your normal horror movies are not our normal horror movies.
Right.
So it's sort of awesome.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to take a second to say to our listeners out there who listen to this episode, for those who aren't familiar with what Category 3 films are, they are films from Hong Kong that you couldn't rent or go to the movies to see or buy unless you were 18 years old. In 1988, Hong Kong introduced a category rating system, and basically the most fucked up shit, meaning violence, depravity, rape, torture, explicit gore, all that shit got filed into Category 3. That's what Category 3 means. Anyway, so you're putting out the Estonian animated film, The Old Man, which is the most successful full-length animated movie in those parts. Tell us about that movie, dude. I watched the trailer. It looks awesome.
Oh, dude, it's fucking hilarious. It goes balls out crazy. And we actually did the English dub of it ourselves. And I used Jimmy Screamer Claus, who's one of our filmmakers, and he does our authoring. And he's like, hey, man, we ought to do the dubbing for this. And he has his animated voice talent. So he brought them in. And oh my God, we got this guy. He's in Greece, and he's part part of Butcher's harem, and his name is Cumblood.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but he plays the old man, and he plays the enemy of the old man, which is a guy in a wheelchair whose cow exploded and turned his body into milk. His blood is sour cream. And it's just crazy and it's awesome. And the thing is so fucking hilarious. I laughed so fucking hard. I haven't laughed that hard since I saw Step Brothers with Will Ferrell in them.
Oh shit.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's I think it's going to be huge because it's more mainstreamy than, the things that we put out. Because, I can't get Bouquet of Guts and Gore on Netflix or any of that shit. So,
I get you. I totally get that.
Yeah. And, but the movie becomes so outrageous that it just keeps building to where you're like, what the fuck? You're like, what? Robot cows? And if a cow doesn't get milk, they explode like a nuclear explosion? What the fuck is this? And it just keeps getting crazier and crazier until the end. And oh my god, I mean, yeah, I'm hoping we're trying to do a good promotion and push and marketing for it to get the word out, because it's so. I watch a lot of comedy, and man, there's so many comedies I'll sit there and I'll watch, and one giggle, maybe a chuckle. This was like 10 belly laughs, 15 giggles, 17 chuckles, and it should like catch on because it's so fucking outrageous and creepy too. It looks creepy, and So I'm really proud that we're going to be putting out. We just got to get the buzz up.
Yeah, it looks,
because nobody's seen it yet.
Right, it looks hilarious. Like I watched the trailer last night, and I was like, first the two things that I thought was, I was like, okay, this looks funny as shit. I did laugh a few times during the trailer, but I also thought this looks like something that I want to be completely fucking baked for when I watch it.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, and if you do get baked, have a glass of chocolate milk. Because it's all about the milk, baby. It's all about cows and milking and people addicted to milk and shit. I mean, it's fucking hilarious. So if you have a glass of milk, you're going to fucking feel even weirder, but you're going to enjoy the fuck out of it. We'll see. I mean, that's the thing. New movies are hard. New movies are hard because you got to push and promote them, and if you notice, a lot of the other horror companies, they're just putting out old shit.
Yeah, totally.
Shit that everybody's heard of or whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like that's definitely not something. The old man is not. I haven't heard or seen it posted anywhere else, but from you guys. So you're not wrong in that. So I wanted to bring up the next movie that I wanted to talk to you about. This was the movie that I was super excited to bring up to you when we knew that we were going to have you on as a guest, and that movie is The Profane Exhibt. Now, I have a history with this movie, dude. I swear to God, I have chased this movie like since I've heard about it. I remember reading an article, I believe it was in a Rue Morgue magazine, and it was all about like how like it's just gruesome and gnarly, and it's going to be like disgusting. And I thought, like, holy shit, like I want to see this movie, and the picture that it showed was like 3 naked chicks covered in blood. I'm like, holy shit, I'm in. And I'll be honest with you, I tried to fucking find it online. I don't pirate movies. I buy movies. I have like 5,000 movies, physical media, but I legit was so desperate to watch this movie that I was like searching for it online, and I could never find it, and I still never did. And here we are now in 2022, and you're putting it out. I got to ask you, how did you get that? And what can we expect? Is it going to be unrated? Is there going to be a slipcover?
Oh yeah, slipcover, unrated. I mean, I was lucky that the producer Amanda Manuel, she was working with a guy that was just fucking up, and that's why it's never been finished. So she hit
Oh
me
shit.
up,
Oh shit.
and I guess I don't know, but she hit me up to finish it, and it needed some editing, it needed some sound work, it needed some audio work, Foley, and I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I'm like, okay, let's do this. So we've been working on this for the past 2 years, two. But
Oh
that's just
wow.
because we're also working on behind the scenes on the new Guinea Pigs, the extended cut of Serbian Film, the documentary. I mean, we're bringing more to the table than a bunch of the other horror companies. Uh, so
So wait, so is the reason that I couldn't find the Profane Exhibit because it wasn't finished?
yeah, it was never finished.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they just never got to finish it, and they went through different editors and different people, and plus when you're dealing with like 10 other filmmakers, yeah, you got to deal with everybody's ego and bullshit and stuff, so we got involved, and we're dealing with a little bit of bullshit, but it's like, fuck you, we're putting this out, suck my balls.
Your slipcovers, the artwork on those is amazing. Who designs those? Because they're very well done.
Oh, that's my guy David Hood. He has been working with us since 2001, actually. It's sort of funny because I used to have a cult video store in Ybor City back in 2000, right? And this guy just walks in one day and he's like, "Hey, man, I can do some menus for you if you want." And I'm like, "Cool." And he's like, "Look, I'll do the first one for you for free. And if you like the other, you like that, then hire me." And I'm like, "Okay." And he did the menu for Flower, Flesh, and Blood from Guinea Pig. Oh, and the menu's fucking amazing. And I was like, "Dude, you're hired." So he's been hired, and he does our graphic design. He does our cleanup of audio, and cleaning up of films and stuff. Because you get a film like Untold Story. The audio we got from China was fucking terrible. They threw on filters upon filters upon filters to where it sucked balls. So we actually had to get the laser disc of it, and we grabbed that audio. And when you do a scan for a movie, sometimes it speeds up by like 1/10 of a second, and sometimes it slows down by 2/10 of a second. So then you got to go through and reline up all the audio so it mixes the mouths. And yeah, so he's doing all that as well. I mean, he's an amazing guy, and I'm glad he's on our team because everybody digs our shit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, he does a great job with those covers. And you brought up a Serbian film, and I think that's obviously the big film you guys are doing for distributing. What were your thoughts seeing that for the first time? When Drew had me watch that, like those images were just like burned into my mind.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the funny thing is that I got a screener of it, before it was released, and I watched it with my second ex-wife. And for some fucking odd reason, it turned her on.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. So, but yeah, we got outbid from it by a company, and it got put out here in the U.S., and they just kept putting out like cut versions of it, cut version, and then, oh, here's the uncut, but it's only a limited thing. And we ended up suing them and winning for the director, Serjan Spasajevic, because he's a good friend of mine. So we sued this company. One, made him some money that he was never going to see before. And then that's when, he gave, I got all of the materials, and I'm looking at it and I'm like going, well, what the fuck? Why isn't this scene in there? Why isn't that scene in there? What's going on with this? What the fuck? So then I decided to make the Serbian extended cut. And that's what me and David Hood, the guy you brought up, yeah, we were editing that. I had another editor, I won't name him, but he fucked up because we edited the extended cut with him, and the stupid fucker didn't do a backup of it, and his dog fucking hit the fucking hard drive and destroyed it. So we had to start over, so it took us some time. And I'm also suing another company in Germany right now over Serbian Film and Solomon, and we got the Serbian Film settled. So now we got to put out the 4K version of the extended cut sooner than later. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say when I saw the
Because I love Serbian Film. Love it. Think it's amazing.
did you receive backlash or criticism for distributing it from anybody?
Nope. I figured I would have. I mean, some people were like, "Oh my god," but who the fuck are they, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, you have a problem with Serbian Film? Fuck you. You don't even realize it's a movie. Okay, you think it's real. Most of the people who complained never saw it, and all they hear about is the baby scene, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
No, dude, I'm with you 100%. I've been one of those people that my wife and I watched it. My wife is one of those people where she doesn't watch horror movies, but if it's like a really fucked up extreme horror movie, she'll watch it. So, like, you know, she heard about a Serbian film. She's like, let's do it. And we both really liked it. And then I realized after watching it that it was like a dirty thing to admit that you liked it. And that kind of pissed me off because, like, it's a fucking movie. You know what I mean? And what I wanted to say to you, something that bothers me, is that I see people all the time say that if you like a Serbian film, that you're a pedophile or that you support pedophilia. And that blows my mind because the movie does not depict it in a glamorous or righteous way. It's not glorifying it at all. It shows you how fucked up and sick it is. So how I don't see how people can think that, you know, it's supporting that in any way. How do you feel about the critics and supporters that sort of say that about a Serbian film, that if you like it, you support pedophilia or you are a pedophile?
Not only did I release the movie, but I made an extended cut, and I'm working on a fucking documentary. Okay? The people who are bitching never watched it.
Hell yeah.
All they did was just see a couple of comments, and it's like, dude, you haven't watched it. And it's a big... I got the baby in my fucking living room.
Do you really?
Yeah, I got the baby. I got everybody's heads. All the gore effects are here. I got the chick that was getting banged and got decapitated.
When he cuts her head off?
She's in my living room too. She is in my living room. She's
so what's
under
your living
bed,
room like a museum of horror?
Oh yeah. If you got in, I got stuff from Mortem in there. I got dismembered dick in a jar from August Underground Mortem. I got stuff from Toe Tag, Serbian Film, Bouquet, Solomon. I got all, yeah. And I usually like selling the props, because that's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, definitely.
And when we did the Serbian Film exhibition out here, we were offering everything for sale on eBay, and we were up for a day and a half, and then eBay pulled everything down. Oh, you can't sell this. And we're like, dude, we're selling a dress from a Serbian film, and we can't sell that.
Damn.
Oh, it's got blood on it. It's like, no, there's no blood on this dress, assholes. And it's just the word a Serbian film.
Yeah.
So eBay has their
people don't want to touch it.
Nuts and a blanket over it. And yeah. So that's why I'm not only touching it, but I'm making the film longer, and I'm making a documentary. And the documentary is actually cool as fuck, right? Everybody's having a good time behind the scenes. Everybody's having fun. They kept the camera rolling for behind the scenes for the whole shoot, and it was 63 days.
Oh, wow.
So, I got to cull through 150 hours worth of behind the scenes footage to make this documentary, and everybody's cool. I mean, the funny thing is when the documentary hits, it's going to be sexy, and it's going to be fucking comedic, So I'm hoping the idea with that, with the director, is we're hoping that people realize that, they all had a blast making it, and it was all a professional, film being shot by like 65, 70 people. It wasn't just like an independent thing that I do. This was like top notch. So that'll be fun to see when we drop that out, because then I think that'll take a little bit of the pearl clutching, yeah. So hopefully that's what it does.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. You can trust that John and I will be watching it for sure. It's definitely. I'm not. There's no way that we're going to turn away watching a documentary about that movie. You got like that. Just I'm in. Sign me up. But I wanted to say to you. I wanted to ask you rather. Did you listen to the commentary that Adam Green and Joe Lynch did on a Serbian film? I swear to God, that was the most entertaining thing I've ever heard. I was in fucking tears.
Oh well, I know. Well, that's why I bought it from him. Joe Lynch went to the Joe Lynch went to the Serbian exhibition, and so we're friends a little bit, and he loves the Serbian film, and they did the commentary for it just for their own podcast thing, right? And
right.
And Joe told me, and I'm like, dude, okay, let me listen to it, and if it's awesome. Do you mind if I buy it from you? And he's like, well, I will ask Adam Green, and but we also know you're small on the scale, because it's like Spielberg, Tarantino,
yeah,
fucking, James Wan, and then like a bunch of other motherfuckers, and then like I'm like at the bottom. so Joe is like, yeah, dude, here. So I listened to the commentary, and I was like, dude, this has got to be an extra on the release of Serbian Film. And yeah, because what the fuck? Him barfing the whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah. And now the thing is, remember, these guys are film magic people. So maybe it wasn't all true. Maybe he wasn't barfing.
I can see that.
And the squeaky toy thing, that's an easy one to do, right? So yeah, I mean, I thought about that, after we bought it, we put it out, and people bring it up now and then, because you can watch the commentary with the movie with our thing. And I'm like going,
yeah,
oh
right.
Man, they could have totally Hollywooded this shit out to where it's just like more outrageous. I didn't ask them.
I could see that,
but yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, what I liked about it was that I thought that, like, regardless of if it was staged or not, I thought that what was interesting about it was that you got both sides of the argument. You had Joe Lynch, who liked it and was supporting it, and like, this is just a movie, it's fun, and you had Adam Green that was like fucking barfing and couldn't even like watch the movie. So that to me was like you had both sides of the crowd right there. So that was what was so part of what was so funny about it.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, boom, I will buy that from you. I'm like, dude, you're barfing throughout half the commentary. Priceless.
Definitely. Yeah, that's just, it's hilarious.
Yeah, if you guys have the Blu-ray of ours, it shows the exhibition, which is pretty cool. And then we did the Q&A, at the screening, before the exhibition, before I got everybody drunk with free beer and wine. Yeah, good times. But man, I had a couple of guys jump on the bed because we recreated that scene with the decapitated chick and doggy style on the bed. Yeah, every 15 minutes we'd have to jump on somebody because they jumped on the bed for a selfie, humping the body.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Get off there. What are you doing? For fuck's sake, somebody else just did this, didn't you? What the hell? and I will tell you,
That's pretty good.
I did not do that selfie. I could have. In fact, I could still do the selfie. I can go into my living room right now.
Right, yeah, it's right in your living room.
And, yeah.
Well, okay, so for an extreme guy like yourself, I wanted to ask you, you're all about, the guts and gore and dismemberment. How do you feel about A24 and elevated horror movies? So-called elevated horror movies.
Okay, A24, that's fucking Witches, Hereditary, and that shit?
Yeah,
Yes.
Lighthouse.
I mean, I try not to pay attention to what the other film companies do, to be honest, just because, oh my God, they're doing this, that means I got to do this, I mean, Hereditary was okay, Babadook, I never bothered. Fucking the Vitch, yeah, that was cool, like that, I mean, I watched that shit. Will I ever be able to make something like that? No, I don't think I'll ever have that kind of fucking cash. But I dig it. I mean, I dig most horror movies. It's like I'll watch one and it's like, okay, how often am I going to watch that again? I won't, unless I totally forget it because I was way too high. Oh
We've
yeah,
all been
no,
there.
that happens all the time. What the hell did I watch? Because the problem is, back in my day, back in the days when you could buy a candy bar for 5 cents, you would actually go to the fucking video store, take your time, pick something out for $3 or $4, and drive home, and then you'd watch it and be like, "Yay!" And then you'd have to get back in your car the next day and drop it off. So I think, I think.
Yep.
We remembered those movies a hell of a lot more than us just clicking VOD for Netflix or Hulu or whoever the fuck, and then watching it, and then
That's a really
and
good
then you
point.
forget it because it was just so easy. I mean, I just got a membership to Shudder. They got the Untold Story on there. Nice money, And they did just pick up Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2 from us. So that's cool. But I went through their list of horror movies and they don't everything I've already seen. It's like how many times you need to see a horror movie when there's so many new horror movies. But there's so much dreck too,
True.
So much crap. And it's a shame. I can understand, I know a lot of filmmakers are like, oh, well, dude, you can't show like testicles getting ripped off because then how are we going to get that mainstream dollar? And I'm like, well, you're not going to get the mainstream dollar because you ain't going to show the testicles getting ripped off. You'll just make a mediocre film that people will watch or turn off halfway Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, I really agree with your point about having to go and get the movie. I think that's also why the movies that we hate, or we also hate so much from back then, because I had to put the effort in to go to the video store, spent like 30 minutes looking through movies, get this movie, and you're like, this sucks. I hate this movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it was a different time, and back then, Cannibal Holocaust was a holy grail, necromantic, very hard to come by, at least for the extreme crowd, so when you would find it, you'd be like, oh.
And what upcoming projects do you have?
Oh, fuck. Okay.
That many?
Yeah. I mean, because the Profane Exhibt, we're still tweaking the audio a little bit, but we just started the film festival run.
Okay.
So hopefully it does well, because there's so many big names in it, And then the Serbian documentary and the Serbian extended cut, which were in a lawsuit in Germany, so we couldn't put out the extended cut until now that it's settled. We got that Slaughter the Swine thing that, I told you, we have all the final footage, all the insert shots. We just don't have the time to edit it because we're finishing all this other stuff, And then, we're announcing on Friday the movie No Escape with Ray Liotta. Have you heard of that
Oh
movie?
shit.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like a sci-fi apocalyptic prison thing with Lance Hendrickson and Ernie Hudson and all that shit. We were gonna announce it on Friday of last week, but Ray Liotta died on Thursday. And I'm like, because we've been working 8 months on the extras,
Oh, wow.
because the damn director, he directed GoldenEye and Casino Royale.
Oh, wow.
That's the producer produced Aliens and Terminator, right? So we were waiting on extras from them, and we were trying to get them fast, but those are big people.
Yeah.
And then we got all the extras. We're like, yay, we're gonna announce No Escape. And then Ray Liotta passed, and I'm like, well, fuck. Okay, we can't announce it because we're gonna look like fucking vultures picking his corpse.
Yeah, the timing would have definitely looked bad.
Yeah, exactly. Even though we've been working on it for 8 months, So we're going to make the announcement this Friday, and we'll see how that goes. And picked up a bunch of other titles. We were just at Cannes. Hopefully we got something cool or two, or not. I don't know. And the thing is, I got Jesse Seitz and Marcus Cook. They're making American Guinea Pig Chum Bucket. They still got to do all the gore insert shots and stuff. So that's in the works. Marcus did the effects for Bouquet and Bloodshock. He directed Bloodshock. So I released his movie 100 Tears, and that's coming out on Blu-ray soon. Shit. And then I'm telling you, I told you about, we're trying to go after a couple of remakes to do. So, I can't tell you what they are just because everything's in the air.
Yeah.
And then, what the fuck else? There's just too much. There's too much. We're trying to get Ultraman, for God's sakes. You remember that one? Ultraman?
Yeah.
No, you don't. You're just high in agreement. It's a terrible TV show from the fucking 70s and shit. And for some odd reason, they got the bad guys dressed up as apes. And the lead bad guy is an ape with a fucking blonde wig that looks like he's the Dutch boy. The blonde Dutch boy who would sell you paint. Yeah, he's wearing that thing. And come to find out that the only reason they used apes as the bad guy was because Planet of the Apes was hot.
It definitely was back then.
Yeah. No, it was. So, and then, shit. Yeah, there's so much stuff that we're working on. But the big ones is finalize the Profane. That's in the film festival circuit. Serbian extended cut. That'll, got documentary, Slaughter of the Swine, Chum Bucket. Calamity of Snakes. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
No.
No, not that one.
Oh, you are in for a treat. The movie is like, big in the bootleg circuit back in the 90s and early 2000s. And, oh my God, we brought up animal cruelty, right?
Yeah.
This is the mother of all animal cruelty movies, okay? And they just slaughter snakes nonstop throughout the whole fucking movie.
Oh, jeez.
Flamethrowers, bulldozers,
Oh my God.
chainsaws, chainsaws, swords. And people they're throwing real life snakes on all the actors.
Oh my god.
And it's hilariously fucked up, but it's entertaining. But you're like, what the fuck? And yeah. That one, I'm expecting people to flip out on, because
That sounds
one
awesome.
they're taking snakes and throwing them in pits with mongooses and doing the Ricky Tikki Tavi type of thing. But no, it's terribly fucked up. I know we're going to get in trouble for it. And it's been a long time since I've been in trouble for anything. So, yeah.
It won't be Peter's favorite movie.
Oh, no. I saw people get upset at Vinegar Syndrome putting out Ebola Syndrome.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, they killed like a frog in there at a restaurant because they were cooking it. And oh my God, like a mouse got ran over. And I'm like, oh, you guys have no clue what's coming.
And is there any place online that people can go to keep up with your projects?
Oh, yeah. Unearthedfilms.com. We got the Twitter, we got the Instagram, we got the Facebook, facebook.com/unearthedfilms, and we get a lot of horror fans that like the fucked up shit in there. Because, we promote everybody that does extreme movies. Any movie, this and that, everybody's just adding onto it. So we let everybody else talk about everything screwed up. So it's a really nice home for everybody that's fucked up. But yeah.
Do you
can find me.
I was just
gonna say.
go ahead.
I was gonna say. Okay, and on Monday through Friday, you can see me in the corner of 7th and Highland with a sign saying "Give me money. I'm a broke filmmaker." That's a joke.
I was gonna say, have you got in trouble with any of the social media just because of like the movies you deal with? Do they ever give you any flack or like delete any of your posts?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. We lost our YouTube channel.
Damn.
And that was my fault because I put a rough cut of Slaughter of the Swine on there for 2 hours. You couldn't watch it. It was a private link, and it was private and secret, but it was in their servers. And whoever I had watched it. It was like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, I know. And then I deleted it, and then like 24 hours, I get a message from YouTube. Oh, hey, we found some nudity on one of your videos. Don't worry, we deleted it. You're not in trouble. Then an hour later, oh, hey, we found some more, some ultra-violent stuff, but don't worry, we just deleted it. And then it's like, you're deleted and banned from YouTube and Google forever. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And that's because if you upload it, even if it's a private link, their software goes through every video that's put on there and tries to find, fucked up shit. And I guess, in Slaughter of the Swine, we're sewing a girl's vagina up. We're turn the guy's dick into a dick flower, if you can imagine what that is. And yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we've gotten in trouble plenty. We try to be very careful now because we don't want to lose our Facebook group. It's a dance, and now everybody's just getting so upset about everything to where it's just like, I think you can't even have a boob on YouTube anymore.
I don't think so.
I had the Red Room trailer taken off last week on YouTube due to sexual content. There's no sexual content, but there are two chicks kissing really close up. It's like really close up. You just see two lips and tongues going blah, 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 blah. Yanked from YouTube. No boobs, no nothing. So, yeah. What the hell, man?
Yeah, Facebook. I mean, YouTube. I've seen a lot of people get pulled for like way less than that. Like they are quick to pull videos.
Yeah, yeah, and you got to have like your Google account connected to YouTube now, so they know who you are. And then you got to, I mean, we just made a new company, Google. So we got the new channel back up. I'm still like fighting for subscribers. You guys know how that is, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's fucking hard these days because we're competing against everybody. Everything, everybody and everything, every podcast, every fucking radio show, every movie, video game, soundtrack, concert, fucking fuck. And I just read about Kardashian saying that she'd eat poop if make her look younger.
That's interesting.
Yeah. No, it'd be interesting. I would watch it. Okay, I would watch it. But that would be about it.
It could be distributed by Unearthed Films.
Oh yeah. And we'll just have it on loop, and then we'll put some nice fancy graphics, and we'll even do it in slow motion, maybe even reverse. Yeah, got to get a full-length feature out of it, man. That's what we're gonna do.
Kanye just standing in the corner, salty as fuck.
Exactly.
Well, we want to thank you for being on with us today. It was a blast getting to talk to you about all these movies, and we're big fans of Unearthed Films. So thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Oh no, thank you guys for having me on. I wish the best for your podcast, and keep getting high.
Will do.
Absolutely.
Thanks to all the horror hounds and smokers out there for tuning in. Thank you to Stephen Biro for joining us again today. And I think we definitely went to the extreme on this episode. These movies aren't for everybody, but
we had to go there.
Well, we had to go there. Some you either get it or you don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, we can't just do all the movies that everybody who doesn't have a stomach for the stuff can tolerate. We got to cover everything.
Got to cover it all.
Too many movies. You got to cover it all.
Anyway, next week, to just pay attention to social media, keep your ear to the streets. We'll announce who will be on next. And make sure to follow us online at High on Horror 420 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Check out our website, highonhorror.com. You can sign up for our newsletter and send us some puff ass questions from there. And also, speaking about puff ass, you can send them highonhorror420 at gmail.com. Well, that about cover everything. That about wrap her up.
Did you say social media at High on Horror?
Yeah, dog.
Did you?
You listening? How high are you?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't hear.
I even talked Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, website,
I trust
email.
You.
I got it, dog. I got it. This is my part of the show.
You're right. The wrap up's yours. You got this.
I'll run this shit. I think that'll about wrap her up. Catch you later.
Bye, everybody.